The City of Ohio State podcast takes a deep dive into the support services that keep OSU's Columbus campus running 24/7. Hear from industry experts in facilities, safety, transportation, and more. The City of Ohio State podcast is brought to you by the Office of Administration and Planning.
Hello and welcome to the City of Ohio State podcast. I'm Brooke McIvergan in for Dan Hedman. Last month, we heard from Facilities Design and Construction and the Wexner Medical Center about their partnership and projects. This month, we chat with a unit that you might not even know is of service to you. That's UniPrint. Jeff Dible is the director of UniPrint and joins us now. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us, Brooke.
Of course.
It's always good to tell everybody what's new at UniPrint.
I agree. I love sharing about what your team does. So first, while some might already be familiar with UniPrint's capabilities, others may not have the full picture. Your team does everything. You guys even made my wedding welcome sign. So can you walk us through the range of services your team provides, both handled internally and those coordinated with external partners?
Sure. A lot of people know us for traditional things like printing, offset printing, digital printing. But we're really deep into signage, and that includes all sorts of signage. So it is not just, yard signs or coroplast signs, but it's ADA signage for wayfinding in buildings. It's large graphics on buildings, graphics on sidewalks. So pretty much anything you see, we can do those types of sign applications. We also do, in that same vein, window screens in buildings and for conference rooms, and that includes installation. We do a lot of installation for those type of products. Donor walls, we do the installations, but we can also help coordinate those. We've done some very elaborate donor projects where we've partnered with bigger sign companies. In Timoshev, for example, there's a real nice donor wall, and that was done between ourselves and another partner. Additionally, we're very big in the copier space and student lab printing space. So, we manage and place all the copiers on campus, and same with your desktop printers. We will service those for a low price per page cost, which saves you time and money over the term of the agreement. But the student lab printing is a little known entity of ours. We've run that for almost 2 decades, and it's just a service that allows the students to go to any of the libraries, print a document, pick it up at any of the libraries, and same with posters.
And speaking of students, commencement is right around the corner, and UniPrint offers everything for that big day, from plaques to graduation announcements. And I'm sure this is a really busy time of year for you all. So what other graduation services are there that people might not be aware of?
Yeah, we do a lot around commencement. So really our activities for commencement start toward the really the end of March, early April, where we print a lot of programs. We do a lot of the convocation programs that happen within the colleges and departments. We do hooding ceremonies, and then we do a lot of acrylic plaques where they're recognizing a lot of their students and or faculty staff, and awards. A lot of people don't know that we do these acrylic plaques, which you can find on our online store, but we also do awards, with wooden backers or metal fronts. So we have a variety of those type of things that we offer, but it's really a lot of anything that's happening for commencement, invitations, such. We do a lot of that this time of year.
And in terms of other big projects, the Wexner Medical Center Inpatient Hospital is nearly 95% complete with construction now. It's hard to believe. I was just in there the other day and I saw some restroom signs that you all have crafted. They're already being hung up there. So can you talk about the work you're doing for the medical center now?
Yeah, we're really excited about that project. It's one of the biggest projects, if not the biggest project we've ever done as a unit supporting the university. So in that project alone, we're doing the ADA signage, the wayfinding signage, a whole bunch of ancillary signage. Like, for example, when they did the move from the emergency department from in front of the James to over to 12th Avenue, we did and coordinated all those moves and signs and changes within the building to get people to the right location. as well as, a big part of this, new building is the copiers. So we have worked with the end users to determine their needs for the new building, right size their equipment. And right now we have about 160 devices going in between May and June of this year in preparation for, the opening in the fall and in early spring.
And in 2024 alone, more than 16,000 individual posters were produced and managed just for students. So, can you talk through the services you guys provide for our students? I know you touched on it a little bit, but maybe a little bit more in depth.
Sure, sure. Yeah, the lab printing again is it's a service to the students, and this is one I'm always amazed at the volume that we do for the students. So we offer poster printing within a couple locations through our labs, and it's the same as, sending a document, you go release it, and now you have your print. We do it for very economical costs, and that's why it's so popular because most of these projects are, I'm presenting in a class, I need something today or, very quickly at a reasonable cost. So we're very proud that we can support that. And part of the service that we provide is we actually have our staff monitors or students that we hire that monitor those big printers to get this volume done and to assist all the students with any questions or troubleshooting any issues they have. We basically cover about 40 to 50 hours a week of student times to assist people with printing posters.
That's a great resource for our students. And how has UniPrint evolved over the years? Are there any new technologies or services that have really changed the way you operate?
Yes, that's a great question. We were traditionally a printer when I started here 30 years ago. We were just a traditional printer, and we've evolved into the areas that the university needs most. Signage is probably the best example of that. I was approached by one of the signage coordinators on campus about 6 years ago, inquiring why we couldn't do signage since we did all sorts of other printing. So we researched it, started into that type of signage, and we have grown since then. And now we currently have about a 3 to 4,000 square foot sign shop that can pretty much do any type of sign other than, the big illuminated signs. So when we look at new technology, it's about how much is the university using that type of service, how much can we help as a cost savings measure if we got into that service? And, the next kind of extension of that is we're looking at all the environmental branding that we do. We do a lot of interior signage, but we do a little bit of the environmental branding. And now we recently sent our two installers to 3M training so that we can do more of the wall murals, wall graphics, and the bigger things that our equipment will print, but we've never had the expertise to install. And now, we're moving into that area as well.
So, for someone who has never worked with UniPrint before, what exactly does the process look like from start to finish? And a question you guys probably get all the time is, do you need to have design experience to order from UniPrint?
Yeah, that's great questions. We try and make it easy. We have 5 customer service people here every day who deal with customers, and they will help guide you through the process, answer your questions if you're unfamiliar, get you to a point where we provide you an estimate or a quote for what you're looking for, and then help you order it through Workday. Um, so we try to make that extremely easy and painless. The design experience side of it, we don't do a lot of design. You don't have to have a design experience. We can take your files, we'll evaluate them, see if they're good to print. If not, or if there's further design needs you need, we usually partner with on-campus resources like Scarlet and Gray Studio and those type of areas on campus that can help do a full design project for you.
Great. And finally, I know UniPrint is not just a Columbus campus resource. Can you talk about how you guys support the regional campuses as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. We do a lot of work for all regional campuses, printing, copying, placing copiers, supporting their printers. We really take pride in supporting OSU, the entity as a whole. So what a lot of people don't know, for example, is our copiers are placed in 88 counties across the state of Ohio and are serviced by our vendor Xerox. And we manage that relationship and make sure that everything's working there. Same with, we do a lot of work with affiliates of the university. So on the medical center side, all the rural or smaller hospitals that are affiliated with OSU Wexner Medical Center, we have some copier placements. We do some printing for those type of entities as well. We make it, again, as painless as it can be, where we work with them, provide a quote, determine, what's the best method to get them their project. And, we take care of all that.
Great. And this next question I just thought of, it's not scripted, so not to throw you off, but for anyone who doesn't know, our office is actually in the UniPrint shop. So sometimes I'm walking down the hall and I see some really cool things being printed out, maybe for athletics or other really awesome projects that I'm seeing. So do you have a particular one that you are especially proud of, or that meant the most to you? Have you gotten to work on anything cool lately?
That's a great question. I think we take for granted a lot of what we do. I think one of the neatest projects we've done in the last couple of years is we actually 2 years ago did the commemorative Palatonia book that was given to every writer in the Palatonia each year. And that was just one that, it really felt we were giving back to a cause that the university supports, and really showcased how well we can do something. It was a nice coffee table book that all the writers kept and took home with them. And I've heard a lot of compliments on that.
That's great. How special to be able to have your hand in that. Well, Jeff, it's always a pleasure getting to highlight the work you and your team are doing here at UniPrint. Thank you so much for joining us.
We appreciate it, and anytime we'd love to tell you about what the new great things we're doing.
The City of Ohio State podcast is brought to you by the Office of Administration and Planning. Until next time, be kind and go Bucks.